Have you ever wanted to be a superhero? And what about a sidekick? Would that make you happy? Today, we're discussing world's most famous sidekick, Nightwing, and the psychological effects being a sidekick were to him. Richard Grayson was introduced in 1940 as the first Robin. He was created to make detective comics more appealing to a younger audience, especially because he himself was a kid. Although that did not save this hero from having a tragic past. Richard, or Dick Grayson, was an acrobat in the Haley Circus together with his parents. The circus was on tour in Gotham, and one night Dick heard a big crime boss, Tony Zuko, threaten to harm the performers unless the circus owner paid money. That same night, Dick and many of Gotham's elite witnessed how the Flying Grayson's rope snapped and killed Dick's parents. Richard felt guilty for their death because he didn't warn them. After this incident, he was placed in the juvenile service system because social services were overpopulated. Dick got beaten up on multiple occasions before being sent to an orphanage. Bruce Wayne ended up adopting him as his ward. Bruce's busy schedule as a business owner by day and vigilante by night made it very hard for Richard. He suffered by the lack of attention Bruce gave him, all while still not knowing what happened to his parents. He decided to sneak out one night and solve the crime on his own, which is when he ran into Batman. On this night, Richard returned to the circus, which is where he got attacked by Zuko's right-hand man. Batman saved him and later revealed his identity to Richard. Bruce recognized himself in Richard and offered to train him and become his partner. Bruce's and Dick's origin are very similar. Both witnessed the death of their parents, both were curious to the circumstances, and felt a need for justice. This created a bond between the two. After about a year of training and working together, Dick had his very first solo mission: apprehend Two-Face. Harvey Dent had kidnapped the DA and Batman and hung them on a noose. Two-Face challenged Dick, or now Robin, in a game of flip the coin. Robin called for both to survive if the coin landed on the clean side, and it did. However, it was a trap and the DA was dropped in the water and drowned. This was followed up by Robin being beaten up by Two-Face. Batman was able to free himself and save Robin. This event really traumatized Dick, and Batman refused to let him out alone before he was fully recovered. Robin was tasked to prove himself again to show that he really wanted his life of crime fighting. Slowly but surely, Dick got tired of being a sidekick. He felt lesser than his mentor, and fellow sidekicks felt the same. Dick created the Teen Titans together with Kid Flash, Aqualad, Wonder Girl, and Speedy. However, the team fell apart as they grew up. In the meantime, Dick continued to fight alongside Batman. After 6 years, he got shot in the shoulder by the Joker. This made Batman end their partnership. Dick stayed in the new Teen Titans but felt like his identity of Robin didn't fit anymore. Dick turned to Superman for help, who inspired him to take on the persona of Nightwing. His original costume was inspired by his father's circus outfit. Nightwing finally felt like he wasn't in Batman's shadow anymore. He needed to become his own person, or at least feel like he could be himself. But that did not mean he wanted Batman to take on a new Robin, which he did. Jason Todd. This added another strain on the relationship between Nightwing and Batman. Part of becoming his own person, or his own superhero, was moving to another city. While investigating a crime in Bloodhaven, he realized the city was even worse than Gotham. So, he decided to relocate here. However, this did not leave a toll on him. Many losses and disappointing nights led Nightwing to become grimmer and darker. He got a more negative outlook of what it means to be a hero. After Bruce Wayne's apparent death, Dick decided that the world cannot exist without the Batman. So he takes on the cowl and makes the identity of Batman his own. Of course, it's comic book, so Bruce wasn't actually dead and Dick ended up giving the costume, or the suit, back to him. There are 3 big aspects, psychologically speaking, that make Nightwing who he is. I'll go over them one by one. Dick watched his parents fall to death after Tony Zuko weakened the trapeze ropes with acid. Dick was about 8 or 9 years old when it happened. He was still a developing child. A traumatic event can really affect the rest of one's life. To quote Sandra Bloom, "A traumatic experience impacts the entire person. The way we think, the way we learn, the way we remember things, the way we feel about ourselves, the way we feel about other people, and the way we make sense of the world are all profoundly altered by traumatic experience. We see this in Dick in how he instantly wanted revenge. He even asks Batman to kill Tony Zuko in Batman issue 436. But, as I mentioned in the origin part of Nightwing, this was not the only trauma he had to endure. He had to save the district attorney from Two-Face and failed, leading to the death of the DA. Besides the loss of people around him, Dick has also been a victim of some really serious crimes such as sexual assault. In Teen Titans issue 2, Mirage disguised herself as Corey, Nightwing's girlfriend. She manipulated Nightwing to go to bed with her. She tried it again as herself and then revealed to Grayson it was her before as well. Nightwing was obviously shocked, and his teammate, Panta, had the audacity to victim blame Nightwing, call him a slur, and ask who was better. Even Starfire blamed him afterwards, making it even harder for Dick Grayson. And this was not the only instance where Nightwing got sexually assaulted. Another big event was in Joker Last Laugh issue 6, the time Nightwing killed the Joker. Tim Drake, the third Robin, was in Arkham Asylum and Joker unleashed a toxin. Thinking Joker killed another Robin, Nightwing went to him with the intention to murder Joker, which he did. Joker lived because Batman resuscitated him. Although Joker survived, this event was still incredibly traumatic to Dick Grayson. Thanks to the Joker, Nightwing learned that he had a breaking point, and wasn't as mentally strong as Batman to never cross that line. And I'm sure this isn't even half of what Nightwing has been through. Dick Grayson deals with his trauma in a more playful manner. We see this in the way that he fights crime. Batman is grim and stoic. He usually uses his fists to beat criminals. In contrast to Bruce, Nightwing uses a more acrobatic and kick-fueled style. Nightwing allows the playful influence of the circus and his parents to flow through him, even though he left that environment due to a traumatic incident. His motivation is to do what is right. He wants to do good. Nightwing isn't fueled by revenge as much as Batman is. Dick Grayson is also more mature, in the sense that he takes accountability for his mistakes and sees them as a learning opportunity. A good example of this is when Dick defeats Two-Face to save the life of Tim Drake. This was a cathartic experience because of how he lost against Harvey Dent in the previous encounter I talked about earlier. It sadly also shows how Nightwing's traumatic experiences are burnt inside his brain and cause fear, even years later. This is called emotional memory. Anytime Dick encounters Two-Face, he relives previous traumatic beatings by him. A way Nightwing copes with trauma is by using it as a source of motivation. He talks about his experiences, allowing Batman to do the same, which in turn creates a bond in which they can both express their emotions and relate to each other. When processing the death of his parents, Dick is more positive in regards to how he talks to his parents' memorials. He talks to them as if they're there and listening. A beautiful example is in Nightwing issue 151, where he says,
"Okay, Mom and Dad, your flying Grayson is about to take the great leap. I'd say I wish you could see me now, but I know you're watching me. I can feel angels on my shoulders."
Compared to Batman, who expresses more negative emotions when talking about his parents. He feels like he isn't doing enough, as if his parents wouldn't be proud of him. The human brain is wired to make us want to be different. We want to be special. We strive to be unique. Yet, on the other hand, we compare ourselves to others. We have role models who we want to be like. We scroll on social media wishing for the life somebody else is living. Comparing ourselves can be good to set goals and find out what we want, but they can also cause some damage. Comparing yourself to others, also known as social comparison, can be demotivating and lead to destructive emotions such as envy. People are envious when they see someone better and express a desire to be just as good. There are two types of envy: malicious and benign. Malicious envy implies the will to bring someone else down so you look better. People like Nightwing, who are benign, tend to want to work and bring themselves up to be just as good as the person they look up to. Sidekicks tend to look up to their mentors. In comic books, a lot of sidekicks are recruited as children with an adult mentor. At a young age, the sidekick is trained to be like the mentor, while the mentor is also still training and improving. It creates an impossible standard. However, we all compare ourselves to others. We can turn that off. And when we compare ourselves to an impossible standard, it can lead to many side effects besides envy. For example, some negative consequences of social comparison can be depression and a higher chance of developing a drinking problem. This is not good, knowing that a lot of superheroes already go through quite a lot of trauma. Comparing oneself to someone else also has a negative side effect on your well-being, and even your relations, which is what we see in Nightwing. Nightwing wants to be as good as Batman, maybe even better, but on the other hand, he also wants to be his own person. He doesn't want to spend his life living in Batman's shadow.
Robin, where are you?
Still in your shadow.
Yet he takes on the mantle whenever Bruce isn't there. Dick feels the need to prove he is more than just a sidekick, and especially wants to prove himself to Bruce. But to be his own person, he needs to leave Bruce, which is what he does by joining superhero teams like the Teen Titans. It's similar to young adults staying in a dorm or even leaving their parents' house to find their own place in society. In my opinion, Nightwing has the right idea. He does most definitely compare himself to Batman, and it doesn't always have a positive outcome, but he works on himself. He feels bad being in Batman's shadow. He feels inferior to Batman, and Batman's lack of positive feedback and affection doesn't help. But Dick makes sure to live his own life, such as creating the Teen Titans. He chose his own identity, moved to another city, and applies what he has learned from Batman. But on the other hand, he acknowledges the importance of Batman. Batman as a symbol of hope. This goes back to our need to be different, our need for a self-identity. In our lives, we go on a journey to find ourselves. We find out what we like, what we don't like, who we want to be, who we are right now, and so on. We have a need to be fully and truly ourselves. And this is where Nightwing wins. This is what saved Nightwing. He has become his own person outside of the Bat family. He made his own choices. This leads us into his last and very important personality trait: hope. I believe Nightwing is a better symbol of hope than Batman is. Batman creates fear, and although there is hope for the city, that's kinda it. Nightwing is more than that. He creates hope for everyone. Batman is distant. It's like he's afraid of having people close to him. He's afraid of others getting hurt and being alone again, just like he was when his parents got murdered. He wants to avoid those situations, which is why he didn't let Dick out as Robin after the incident with Two-Face and the Joker. Batman also isn't known for giving positive feedback or even saying thank you after someone came to help him out. Batman is a dark and brooding character. Although Nightwing went through a similar traumatic experience, he handles it differently with his teammates and partners. Instead of pushing them away, he trains them. He gives constructive criticism when some things go wrong, and he gives positive feedback when he can. By doing this, he's already giving hope to his teammates. He's also more positive than Batman, and his costume has always reflected that. While Batman is known for wearing a dark and mainly black suit, Robin started with bright red and green colors, and Nightwing with blue. In his early days, he also wore yellow. Nightwing also excels in giving hope to victims of a crime. Batman works to see the bigger picture. He works to stop crime. He'll beat up a criminal, take him in, and move on to the next crime. Dick's focus is more on socially admirable goals. He doesn't just stop a crime, but he will make sure the victim is okay, check in on them, and make sure they can get to a safe place. His daytime job as a policeman was really useful in that area. One example is during Nightwing issue 54. As a cop, he stopped a guy who was abusive towards his girlfriend and child. However, the partner didn't file any charges, so Dick Grayson couldn't do much more. He came back later that night as Nightwing and saw the husband beating his family again. Nightwing threatened the guy to stop. Dick also provided hope for the future of Bloodhaven, simply by joining the police force. He was aware of the amount of police brutality and corruption there was inside the force, which is partially why he decided to join the BPD. He wanted to stop the corruption and help the community even more that way. So although Dick went through immense traumatic events and developed a complicated relationship with his father figure, he still has perseverance. He doesn't give up and wants the best for everyone. He provides hope, not only to the citizens of Gotham and Bloodhaven, but also to us. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you made it this far. Another big thank you to Milky Pasta, who gave a voice to Nightwing in this video. If you like horror narration videos, I really recommend checking out this channel, which you can do right here. Bye!